Hi, my name is Patrick Kramer, and I will be doing my presentation on building a stronger nonprofit workforce by improving employee retention at the Fund for the Public Interest. So the Fund for the Public Interest does a combination of environmental and interest work. Um, they are both nonprofits, and one of the problems that we kind of um, bump into is a lack of retention rate amongst the canvassers that we hire, which can lead to not being, our directors having to focus on hiring and spending money on new hires, which takes away from being able to work on our mission and not meet our campaign goals. So that's kind of what we're trying to do. What I'm trying to focus on is fixing that retention rate in this in my project. Um, so for our quantitative and qualitative data, uh, I was looking at, in terms of quantitative data, the numbers behind it, easy canvasser turnover rate, average employee length of service, promotion rates, training costs, interviews. They do have notes, and I know in the hiring process of the Fund for the Public Interest, they do have notes that they write down, and just, stats of, like, maybe are you a college grad? Are you in college? Just kind of miscellaneous information there. But qualitative data, that could be interviews with field managers, employee surveys, exit interviews. Um, all of those are very important. I would like to gather this information over a 6 month period if I could, if this was going to be achievable, so that we could kind of take this data as it is and take, like, really dive deep on how we can fix this information, like take a look at this and see what is attributing to the um, lack of retention in the nonprofit workforce right now. There is an average annual turnover rate of 19%. 59% of nonprofits are reporting hiring difficulties, and 95% of nonprofit leaders are concerned about burnout in the workforce. Um, uh, so In the next slide here, we have the needs assessment and gap analysis. Currently, right now, where we are right now as a nonprofit with canvassers, there's a high employee turnover rate. There's frequent hiring and trainings, which leads to inconsistent onboarding and a loss of experienced staff, mostly because of difficult quotas that are, important for the mission, but sometimes it's putting the cart before the horse. If you're just focused on the mission and not focused on retaining the people to make the, money, and, talk to people to get to the mission. The desired state would be a higher retention rate, better employee support, clear development, and a much more experienced workforce. It would be great to have kind of a avalanche approach where, slowly over time, a canvassing office, slowly builds more and more canvassers, so that by the end of it, maybe you have like 50 or 60 starting from zero by the end of the summer. That would be fantastic. Some of the problems that we can't reach, making it hard to get there, is limited mentoring. It's difficult for people to train. It's difficult to find experienced people to train inexperienced people. The coaching, because it is from usually inexperienced people, can be inconsistent. Um, Few opportunities for leadership development, and a lack of structured employee feedback. Um, so addressing these gaps will make the organization move from more of a high turnover and inconsistent support to a stronger, more stable, engaged workforce, which is kind of you really want to tap into the people and get them interested, and people are interested, but right now it's just, I feel like a lot we're missing a lot of the opportunities we have right now. Um, So the needs assessment and framing statement. Essentially, just the problem in words is the fund for the public interest experiences high employee turnover that reduces organizational effectiveness and increases hiring and training costs. Current onboarding and employee development practices do not consistently provide the support needed for employees with different backgrounds and experience levels. A structured retention strategy is needed to improve employee success, strengthen the workforce stability, and better support the organization's mission. Again, kind of just focusing on, it is, it, we need to be able to train people who can train people so that, they can keep, they get better training, and then the new employees who are inexperienced get better training, and then you slowly, absorb more and more talent and get better chances to meet your goals, whatever they may be, building wildlife crossings or the right to repair. Um, oh, sorry. So the root cause analysis for high employee turnover, people are coming in and they generally have no experience canvassing. Those people are also being mentored by people who don't are either strapped for time or also don't have that much experience mentoring either. The process, because of that, ends up being inconsistent onboarding. Management, there are usually two directors per canvassing office, which means each one of them is put under a heavy workload. They're very busy and putting out fires that only they can really put out, which means they have limited time for employee development. Organization culture, burnout for sure. There's a lot of uh, it's long hours. It's in sometimes tough conditions. There is limited job security, and the pay is uh, not very. I mean, it is the nature of a nonprofit. You don't get paid very well. External factors, it is a seasonal workforce, but that is also the nature of some campaign offices. They are just seasonal during the summer. And the competitive job market. Other jobs are paying better, which makes it hard for people to justify working at a nonprofit. Um, which is, all leads to high employee turnover. Um, okay, the contextual analysis for the political environment, nonprofits depend on public policy and regulations. Those are constantly changing, so you have to be able to adapt to those. Changes in labor laws and funding priorities can affect staffing. Um, Yeah. Environmental advocacy organizations may experience shifts in support based on political leadership. That is very true, depending on who's in charge at a given time. Environments, advocacy organizations generally get labeled as liberal, and even though at least, Environment North Carolina is a nonpartisan um, nonprofit, they still will be usually branded as more liberal, and that is something that is difficult to, dig yourself out of. Economic environments, again, limited nonprofit budgets make it difficult for competitive wages. The nature of the beast, nonprofits aren't very um, profitable. Uh, Competition from private employers increases employer turnover. High hiring and training costs reduce organizational efficiency. So the more time we spend, the more money we spend on hiring and training, the less money we can do to getting to our goals. Social environment, young workers often seek career growth and work-life balances. That can be kind of hard to do in these positions because you do have quotas you have to meet. And if you aren't trained properly early on, it may be harder to get you the training to reach those quotas. And you may be just quota fired, which is if you just don't make your quotas within 2 weeks, you are just let go because you're not meeting standards. Burnout, even for those who do make that quota, contributes to employees leaving nonprofits because the work is tough, long hours. It's you're out there rain or shine. Employees are more likely to stay when they feel supported and valued. This is true, and um, I do know that at least in my experience, anecdotally, I have seen a lot of attempts to support employees, but it is difficult when all of these other factors are weighing in for that to be the only one that really, carries people into coming in next week. All right, I do have a couple references, some from some nonprofit research, a couple from um, just statistics about the nonprofit um, oh my gosh, employment records, and also the Fund for the Public Interest itself. Um, AI disclosure, and that's it. Thank you very much.